Good evening. Tonight is March 20th, 2025, and this is the calling to order the meeting of the East Long Meadow Board of Health. The Board of Health is recording. Is anyone else recording? Okay. With that, just the announcements from the rest of the announcements from the chair is that we are meeting tonight via Zoom webinar pursuant to former Governor Baker's order 5 whole years ago, March of 2020, which overrode certain provisions of the open meeting law, and that has been extended by Governor Healy till 2027. So with that, the first order of business tonight is to approve the minutes of the last meeting. So did everybody get a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, looks good.
Great. Do I hear a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes as written.
I can second that. And we will do a roll call vote. Christine Johnston, aye. Dr. Katie Jobbins?
Aye.
Rebecca Torsha?
Aye.
Awesome. All right. Is anyone here for public comment tonight?
Nope.
Great. That's easy. Moving on. No public comment. All right, Tammy, business at hand. This is you.
Woohoo! Okay. So first up, we have update on the waste disposal site assignment process for the Deer Park recycling facility. I'm not sure if everybody here receives the notifications from. There's like at least 20 people when the DEP sends a notification out. But they did notify us about a week and a half ago that the notification process for the site assignment was incomplete. I guess they Arment did not certify mail the mailings that they sent out to different facilities. So basically, this brings us back to pretty much where we were in January, restarting the process again, and so they have to send out certified mail, the same notifications that they did before. So which this is good because it gives us a little more time. So it's probably going to push our public hearing to mid to late May, which is good because yay, I have found us number B. I found us a hearing officer. And when I say I found us, I will say Jesse Timmy Belcher, our town attorney, found him. But I asked Jesse, so by proxy, I found him. And that would be the Honorable Mark D. Mason, who is a retired judge, and he works for Mason Mediation out of Springfield, which is kind of nice because all of the other towns that I talked to had people from basically out near Boston who kind of don't know us. That being said, he has to be like from an area surrounding, like there were so many different requirements for this person. But I got to talk to him over the Zoom last week, and he seems like a really good fit for our town. And he did send us over a letter stating that he's willing to do it. And what we just need to do today, per the CMR, is to have you guys vote to approve Mark Mason as a hearing officer for our site assignment facility public hearing for the Deer Park recycling facility. And I sent you guys the CV. Mr. Mason, he's a retired Superior Court judge with almost 40 years of legal experience. He's tried hundreds of cases and he's presided over thousands of proceedings. Very nice, very professional. That is my spiel. It's very different because I haven't worked with anybody that's gone through this process, and obviously we've had our own public hearings, and the chair presides over most Board of Health public hearings. This is a very like niche instance where this happens. It's kind of cool.
So at this point, we need to take what I understand is we need to take a vote to approve the Honorable Mark D. Mason as the hearing officer for the upcoming site assignment public hearing for the Deer Park Recycling Facility. Is that what I hear?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, I am going to make a motion, that we approve the Honorable Mark D. Mason as a hearing officer for the site assignment public hearing for the Deer Park Recycling Facility.
I second.
All right, and roll call vote, Christine Johnston, aye. Katie Jobbins,
Aye.
Rebecca Torsha.
Aye.
All right, so that motion has passed, so we have voted, to approve Mr. Mason, for that upcoming hearing. Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you guys.
All right.
It's definitely been like a stressful process, not knowing kind of like each step, but our coordinator or solid waste coordinator, Tom Spate from the DEP, has been very like open to questions, the occasional Friday afternoon like cell phone call like when I'm asking them. So that's really good. And he's gonna give us more of a final timeline soon, but I think what has to happen is the proof of the public notice has to go through them, and then that's when they'll start basically that 21-day public comment period again, and then they have I think it's like a 40-day, 45-day period where they review. So it kind of all starts over, and he's going to give us a better idea. But for now, earmark mid to late March. It will be in person, and we really won't be able to be very picky about the days because it will be 30 days from when we're notified, which will be a business day. It will be a Monday through Friday, but it will be based off of the day that they let us know that period starts. Okay, and so far nothing. There was only one public commenter on it. I'm not sure if we talked about that the last time. And it was a lawyer representing other facilities locally, which I guess is not very common in this process. So that's the heaviest lifting for tonight. I told you this will be easy peasy after that.
Before we move on, any questions about that? Okay. And Tammy, as soon as you know what we're getting at for dates, can you let us know, like with the most advanced notice as humanly possible, if you can?
I will, the moment I get that email, forward it to you guys so that we know. Absolutely. Let's see. Okay. Are we good to, let's see, the next thing is the tobacco regulation draft. So Lisa Goodnight Stevens sent us the draft that she put together. In it, you'll see that there are highlighted policy choices are in green. Differences between the new draft and the existing regulations are highlighted in yellow. It's pretty much everything that we had talked about that she put in there. So if you guys want to kind of review it in your spare time, I would suggest that we do this after the public hearing, just so that we kind of don't, we're not like back to back doing this kind of thing. So that way we can have a little bit of extra leeway. I will tell you that every time we just say the word update, I get at least 3 phone calls from tobacco lobbyists. It's very interesting. So I'm sure that tomorrow or Monday, it'll be the same thing, asking about what we're updating, and if they can get a copy of it, which once you guys decide on this, then I'll look into the posting period. And then when that happens, I'll put it up on the website, and then everybody will be happy to take a look at that.
I just had a quick question when I was looking through it, Tammy. We removed that whole section around making it essentially no one under the age of 21 would ever be able to buy certain tobacco, but that's gone. I just want to make sure. I think I was trying to figure out where it used to be, but we're good.
Oh, the tobacco free generation one. Yeah, we decided not to add that one in for now. I would be more comfortable if the state started that than if we did, since there'd be nobody to help us enforce.
Right, I was gonna say, we don't have the manpower to die on that mountain, so.
Or woman power.
Person power.
Person power. Exactly.
Okay, so the next steps on this, just so we're clear, the three of us will take a look at this a little bit more detailed. And then at some point moving forward, we will take a vote to, or not a vote, but we'll basically decide that we are going to hold a public hearing. And then we hold the public hearing and then we also then we take the vote.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Got it.
We'll just have to decide on what, and we know we're updating, so we'll have to decide on the date that we're going to do that, which gives us and giving us enough time to post for public hearing. Which, after I'm finding out from the site assignment process, is a lot less stressful than the type of notifications that I'm going to have to do for the public hearing. Like the same things, certified mail. That's what I said. They have to make a list of everything that went right and wrong with the notification posting, because I'm going to have to duplicate it. Okay. Fun. Okay.
Nope, had a question, totally lost it.
Oh.
Oh, the new version has the duplicated section removed.
It should.
Okay.
Because they went straight with the draft, but it needs to just be like, once we get to actually voting on it, it needs to be turned into a less drafty draft, if that's the term. Like with a draft without our notes, because she kept in some of the notes, it seems, which is fine. I'll clean it up then. That's pretty it. Like I said, the quick updates on pretty much everything.
All right. Any questions on that? How it's going to run? Okay, perfect. All
right. So I know, Christine, you brought this up. On March 17th, the House passed a bill that would extend the authorizations for local boards and committees to hold public meetings remotely or in a hybrid format for 2 more years. That's House Bill 62, with extensions to run through June 30th, 2027. And today the Senate should be, the Senate should be bringing it up. It said on Thursday, so that's today, right? Yep. So hopefully we'll have that decision, but there's also, the governor is trying to make it permanent. So we're not doing this every 2 years. But as far as I know from earlier today, the update from the Mass Municipal Association, it looks like it's a go ahead, so, which is good. Because everybody likes the Zoom meetings because you can wear slippers. Anyway, that's pretty much the update on that. No questions. Once I get the actual update, I will send that out to everybody too. Recycling and trash program update. Liz and I have been real busy when it comes to trash lately. It's kind of, right now we're in the final couple months of our contract with Casella for the disposal. So not the hauling, but the actual final disposition of our trash. We only did a 2-year contract for some reason, and or 3-year contract. I'm not exactly sure why that was in the beginning, as when Merrick McNally was still here. But Liz has been getting us a slew of quotes to look at, and they're all kind of pretty similar, I would say. So what do we, our current contract for this year, I think we're rounding in at like $103 a ton, But that being said, that's before rebates. And it seems like, and Renee can correct me if I'm wrong, on average, we're anywhere between like $29 and $40 a ton for rebates. So that's a pretty good thing. So recycle. Like people don't understand. It's so much cheaper than how much trash costs the town. Recycling is, it really does keep the price of everything down. One of the other things that we were trying to do is, it was what, 2021? What year did we pass, or 2022? When we passed the hauling regulations, the updated ones. We've been reaching out kind of piecemeal to businesses to make sure that they know and they have copies of them. But Liz and Renee just did a huge mailing to all the businesses on our business list about the regulations and the requirements that they need to be recycling. I've received a call from a business the other day who called wanting about compost, but we found out that they didn't recycle. Like, no, you have to. It's not just local, it's a state law. You have to provide recycling. So we're kind of doing that, and then we're going to start doing a little audit, going by and checking out what the businesses are doing this year. I'd like it to be more of compliance based and less enforcement, but I think that if we can't get enough people to start doing that, I'll have to do that. And we're also going to be looking and auditing how we are disposing of waste as a town, municipally, our buildings, to keep things up, to keep things from increasing. And so with that, we are planning our Earth Day festivities, April 11th and April 12th. It is our fest is getting very we're getting a lot of vendors, call them vendors, just a variety of composting and recycling. And I think I brought up the solar oven. So we're getting a lot of those vendors. So hopefully we're getting people to start signing up. And if anybody wants to sign up and sign up for the cleanup day on April 12th, all the links to that are on our website and on the Facebook page for the health department and our recycling page. And then just lately, Liz has been super busy. I think she talked to the senior center on recycling, and I think tomorrow she's going to be doing one of the schools. So very busy on the recycling front. That's all I have on that. Any questions or? I've been out of the office sick, so I didn't get to really get a good update from Chris. And because today she was doing CPR training. But I'll just report on everything that I know she's done lately. She's been continuing to do her blood pressure clinics at the Council on Aging and at some of the housing authority areas. And she has started doing some hands-on CPR with seniors. And right now she's doing a combo of hands-only CPR for some town employees, depending on what they do. And today they were doing like a full CPR with the fire department for, I think those were for the drivers on the vehicle, the Tri-Town trolley drivers, I think. So she's keeping busy on that. And also she's been working with the school nursing department, school health services, to see if there's any resources to help preventing and detecting measles in the school population, because that has been a very big, hot public health topic. I see Katie smiling. Do you have anything to add on the measles?
MMR is one of the safest vaccines. Go get it.
Yeah, get it. Yeah. Actually,
and there are age requirements. So the best part about this is now the CDC and the IDSA, which is the Infectious Disease Society of America, have put out age brackets. And if you fall into certain age brackets, you can ask your physician or your advanced practice provider to check your titers to see if you need to get a booster shot. So that way it protects you as well if you're an older individual who might not have had the vaccine or were exposed, and then maybe your immunity waxed and waned. but that, it was a disease that was eradicated from our country, and now we're seeing it. We have over 300 cases across the country right now. So I have big feelings about it.
There's also some age stuff where they're recommending, right? That
Yeah.
I saw in one of the publications where like before a certain date, if you were
Yep.
born, and then after a certain in this window, and then in this window, you probably only had one dose of the MMR, and then after this window, right?
Yep. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold, please. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just really making sure that you are up to date on your vaccinations, and really, if you are concerned about a rash or having any of the things that you might, not sure what you're supposed to have, like ask your doctor. They can check your titers. Why can't I find this? Hold on, I think they posted it on their Instagram too. Of course, I can't find it. I had literally had it, and then now I can't find it. If not, it's very easy to find on the. Let me see.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, good.
Before 1950, so this is year vaccinated, not year of birth, year vaccinated. Before 1957, recommendation is no vaccine needed. If you're vaccinated 1963 to 1967, a second MMR dose may be needed if you got the unvaccinated one, which was the minority of people. Vaccinated between 1967 and 1989, the MMR was recommended as a single dose for most people, but reminder that the single dose is, into the mid 90s percent effective. You don't need a second dose unless you are high risk. And then after vaccinated after 1989, 2 doses of MMR or MMRV was what you likely got.
And most people who work in either public health or public service are required to get their titers drawn. And like, I think I've gotten an MMR booster, since I went into working in the healthcare profession as well too. So, they're again, very effective, prevent the disease, and, vitamin A does not fix measles. Just as a note.
I don't have too much information to share on it, but Big Y, the Big Y Pharmacy just reached out this week that they will now be able to provide vaccines other than COVID and flu, and they will be starting that at clinics, offsite clinics. They'll be able to start that this spring. So Chris and I are going to try to work on some dates for different areas. It seems more aimed towards adults, not children, like getting shingles and pneumonia. But I'll find out more, and I will let you guys know as soon as that happens, which is kind of neat because I know that when we had the clinics, people always ask like, oh, can I get the shingles shot? And until now they weren't allowed to do that. But it seems that there's been a lot more flexibility with the pharmacies and what they can put out. Mostly because who can get a doctor's appointment these days? I think I've got like 9 more months to go before I can have an appointment with my doctor. Oh well.
Most doctors' offices have clinics for vaccinations, and you don't need a physician or an APP appointment. You just need a nurse visit to get the vaccine. So really, I think they have a lot of vaccination clinics. So if you need one, still call your doctor's office and they can help you get it.
And some of the other pharmacies have offered things like shingles and pneumonia, right? Like some of the CVSs and things like that.
On site.
Yeah, on site, just not in a clinic. Yep.
Yeah,
so.
just not in a clinic. And a lot of our seniors they feel more comfortable. They love going to, say, the senior center to get their vaccine. And I think that's kind of the group of people that we're trying to make sure get vaccinated, because they are getting out and about. So it is at risk, and we'd like to get them vaccinated. So that was pretty good. We still have plenty of COVID tests available at town hall. So if anybody does think that they need them, we had a bit of a bout of fever and sore throat in my house. So there's still that kind of questionable area where everybody's kind of getting a little sick this last couple weeks. So I have no updates on what our numbers look like because I didn't get a chance to look in with Chris, but I don't know if Katie, if there's anything that you've been seeing at the hospital lately.
Still COVID, still influenza A, human metapneumovirus thankfully is going down, and then norovirus is unfortunately still around as well too. So it's just lingering. But my hope is that over the next few weeks as we start to get warmer weather and people are outside more. But yeah, I'm just encouraging people to test because now they have the combined kits, which is great, where it's the flu A, flu B, and COVID in one test. So it's really easy to get. And just really good hand hygiene. And if you're sick, stay home. Like that's the biggest thing. Cover your cough, wash your hands.
Thank you. All right, that's that for that. And pretty much just left is our health department updates. It has been, our busy end of winter, beginning of spring season. This is kind of when the majority of our permits are going through the renewal process. So we've been busy kind of going through that. I'm working on getting our last couple of permits up on OpenGov. And one of the things that we will be, I think we'll try to tag on to another public hearing. I want to add an additional permit or additional plan review. We have it for food service, but we don't have it for everything else. And I have been spending a ton of time reviewing pool permits for the school, which everybody thought was the funniest thing when I walked in the door to the health department. I could not even walk in. The plans for the pool are huge. We've had so many body art come in. So that's another thing just down the road we'll have to vote on approving that for the town bylaws since it comes with a fee. Let's see. Just update on shared services arrangement. No update. I can only guess that their grant funding must be held somehow because they won't even respond to my emails, even though I've started the MSA process. So that's kind of on hold. Kind of sort of like everything else that we've been having to deal with in public health that's either been on hold, been off hold, having to have some sort of blessing in order to approve it. Like even our listservs that we rely on now are being monitored. So I won't get any more into that. And let's see, last up, what's been kind of popping up on my desk lately is just everything vector control. I think I mentioned in our last meeting that we have decided to go with Pioneer Valley Mosquito Control District to do our mitigation for mosquitoes. And we're starting now mapping out for this season because it's going to come upon us really fast. So we'll start doing the catch basins around the schools and the parks and then kind of go forward as we see and start trapping through the summer. And the other thing that had come up is that apparently our program for the subsidy for the tick lab went up a really long time ago. So I'm working with them to start up a new program so that we can still be able to provide low cost tick testing for people. And that we just kind of started working on that now. I'd like to have that in place for when the weather starts getting good and everybody's already outside raking now, which is probably the the worst time to actually be around ticks. So hopefully we'll have that. Let's see. I know there's just been a million other things I could probably list off. That is everything that I could think of fresh off my head that is of interest to everybody. Questions, comments, concerns?
Nothing
good.
from me. Rebecca, Katie, anything?
I'm good. Thanks.
Thanks, Tammy.
Very thorough.
Guys, there's a lot of work for you guys coming down the road, but I promise to make it painless, as painless as possible, and to keep you guys posted on as soon as I get the information on the public hearing dates. I haven't heard from any other towns that they've gone past 1 day, but that's not always a possibility. So we'll keep that open, and then I'm guessing probably at the senior center where I think everybody else has their meetings. I'll have to look into that. What's the best space? Yes, and that's that.
Okay. And is there any work that we need to do ahead of that public hearing to make it smoother, or do we just wait on them to do all of their certified mail and all of that kind of stuff?
Yep, they should have already, more than likely, they've already put that out. Then we have to get a confirmation from the state, and that will start the clock on the public notice. So if there was something that you felt like you wanted to get out the first time but didn't, I guess that's the time that we can write a letter asking questions. But to me, it seems pretty thorough. Like after looking at the comments from the person who sent it in, they sent a traffic control study from Lawrence, Mass, which is a lot different than East Long Meadow, Mass. They didn't send the one from their facility in Wilbraham or their facility in Springfield. So kind of, I'm not sure that with or without that, the criteria is because basically what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to determine based off of the criteria that once EPA approves their application by the EPA or DEP, by DEP standards, they have fulfilled the environmental criteria that they need. We have to take that and determine if we believe that has been filled and make a judgment that yes, that's been fulfilled, and then we in turn can deliver our own criteria if we want. But it seems pretty simple and straightforward. What I'm going to try to get for everybody is the minutes from at least Wilbraham or Ware, so we can take a look at those.
And it's already gone through planning, correct?
Yes, it's gone through planning.
So like all the traffic and all that kind of stuff, like that goes through planning board. That's not us. We're like more the public health impacts.
But yeah, we have to look at it from an environmental health standpoint, basically.
All right. So do we look at meeting day? Do we wait for you? What's the plan here moving forward? If we have do we have work that we need to do, and then we wait on that one? What's the best course of action at this point, Tammy?
I feel like maybe we should set just a time for April in case maybe there's something that, maybe Mark Mason wants to go over with us or whatnot, just so that we have that time, I guess. Which would be good.
That's fine. Also, if there's any other slowdowns, we don't want to just be waiting out there. So we could move on with other stuff. That makes sense. All right. Folks ready to look at calendars?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're sticking with Thursday based off of the town schedule, right?
Yep.
So April break is the week of the 21st,
Yes.
ladies, just so we're aware of keeping that in mind.
Yeah, so I could do the 17th if we need to.
Yep, that'll work for me as well.
Yep, same here.
Okay.
All right. Let's pencil it in.
And then if we need to move it, we will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
That was easier than it's been in a while. All right.
Sounds good.
Do we have any other business? Anything from anyone?
I'm good.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I am motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, I will second that since my volume is on. And roll call vote to adjourn the meeting tonight. Christine Johnston, aye. Dr. Katie Jobbins.
Hi.
Rebecca Torja.
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
ladies. Bye-bye.
Bye.